Hi and welcome to a small tutorial on Acre. What we're going to have a look on today is a couple of different radios in the Acre system. You have the ANPRC 343, which is a short range radio. It has about 16 channels and there's no power setting. The 152 is not really used that much, at least not in European circles. The 148s have two varieties, UHF and VHF. They both operate in the same way. They're mid-range radios. And then you have the rucksack carried larger radios, the 117 and the 119. Alright, so having a look at the 343. First of all, you bring it up, and to do that, you hold left control, left shift, and hit X. And that should show this thing here. And it will show you the radio that you have currently selected. So right now I only have one radio. If I pick up another one, for instance another handheld radio, the 148 VHF, and yeah, as you can still see, the 343 is still selected. But if I hold left shift, left control, and hit A or S, I will cycle through the radios. Now to bring up the 148, this is how this one looks. And the 117, which is commonly seen used pretty much everywhere in the command nets or long range operations, where we're spanning across a large area. We usually use the 117. Alright, so now I have three radios, and you'll see that I'll move a little bit every time I swap it. But yeah, that's to be expected. And to talk, as always, use caps lock. And to talk in direct, use your TeamSpeak button. And in conjunction with the ST Acre volume mod, you can change the range that people can hear you. Like the volume itself doesn't change, but the range that people can hear you is extended if you adjust that thing. So yeah. But more on that in a different tutorial, I guess, if there's a need for it. Alright, first of all, going back to the 343, it has 16 channels. You left click to go upwards, right click to go down. So using the channels on the left knob, and then you have the volume on the right knob. And if you right click all the way down to 0, you turn the radio off. Now to have a look at actual radios and how we can kind of make it a bit more easier for ourselves. So Acre has this functionality that allows you to put the output on either ear. And I do this by holding left shift, left control, and hit arrow button left or right, depending on which ear I want to have it on. So in my case, I want to put the 343, the team radio, on my right ear. So I hold left shift, left control, and tap arrow key right. And now the radio will be sounding on the right ear. So I know that my squad will be on my right ear. And let's say I want to put the 148 or the 117, they both communicate on the same net, just different power settings. And now command will be on my left ear. Now if I want to reset this, I simply do the same thing, left shift, left control, and tap arrow key upwards, and it's centered again. Now to have a look at the 117, it ranges from 1 to 100 channels, and you can change the channels by hitting pre, up and down, minus and plus. No big whoop there. And you can also change the volume, and you can also adjust the power. So hit 8 PGA, hit enter, and cycle to power. And hit enter when you hit power, and then you use the arrow keys left and right on this radio to increase the power. And 20,000 is the max power. Hit enter and it's sorted. But now if I change to a different channel, go to program, enter, power, then I have to do it all over again because the 117 stores power on individual channels. While the 148 also has 100 channels. You can adjust the volume at the top knob, and you can probably change the channels on this knob as well. or you could use the arrow keys up and down. But in this case, like, you really need to pay attention to mode and arrow keys up and down. That's mostly the things that you need to remember about this one. Hit mode once, hit mode twice, and then use arrow keys and set it to max power. Now if I change to a different channel, go to mode once more, you'll see that the current is 5000. So that's not channel specific. It is for the entire radio. And that is pretty much it for usage of the regular radios. Another radio which you might see in use is the 119. It's not currently employed as much in L.A.M.B.S, but it's nonetheless, it's still a radio that's being used now and then. So I cycle to the 119, and you can change channels all the way up to 6. Doesn't have that many channels. So channel upper left corner, right of antenna. Then you have the channels 1, 2, 6. And below that to the left, there's power. Low, medium and high, and PA. And if I remember correctly, PA basically means that when I'm transmitting on the radio, people will hear me outside of, well, they will hear the radio communications going in and out. Or if that's only specific to vehicles, I do not remember. And now moving on to vehicles. If I get in as driver, you'll see that there's a vehicle rack here, but right now I can't mount anything here. Not sure if it's actually and maybe that it's actually just set up that way that some vehicles can't and some vehicles can. I do know for a fact that these aircraft, like the Black Hawk, for instance, if I get in as a pilot, I hold left shift, left alt, and tap Q. You will see here that there's a vehicle rack ANVRC 103. Click on that. Main rack ANCPRC 117F. Use radio. So while I already have two 117s, well, I can still bring this up. It will basically be in my list now. If I use left shift, left control, and A or S, I can cycle through it and I can use it, change all the settings and all that if I want to. And when I'm done using it, it's a good habit to just stop using ANPRC 117. It'll still stop using it, but in some cases there might be some script errors going on there, but nonetheless. That is just a brief look at the Acre radios. And do know that in some vehicles you can mount 117, some vehicles you can only mount 148, like a handheld radio. So that is up to you to experiment it a little bit with, and in most cases, at least in the infantry aspect, you really don't have to mount anything of any sort. As a grunt, you only need to care about the 343. As a FDL, you will need to use the 148s and 117s at some point, depending on the mission, of course. And as always, if you have any questions regarding Acre or usage in the L.A.M.B.S, then just shoot those questions my way. See you next time.